I'm going to introduce myself really quickly. I kind of forget to do that sometimes. So my name is Lisa Bingley. I'll give you like a really quick backstory. I've been in the business 9 years. Have my license for 9 years. I'm just coming up on that. Worked in a small brokerage, kind of a small town. Nobody knew me. And I sold 48 units my first year. So I love my broker, and I actually joined this brokerage because I liked him as a person. He was an awesome person, honest, great, supportive. He lets me like reach for the sky. But as much as that happened, he didn't have systems and processes to teach me what to do. And so I had to figure it out. So I figured it out very well. And I'm actually grateful that I had to figure that out. So now I help other people figure that out, because I went from, 48 to 50 something to 70 to 80 to 90 to 120 houses in a year. And it just continues to go. So anyway, so that's what I'm here to kind of help you with as well. Raise your hand, hit the raise hand button if you signed up to be coached, if you want to ask your coaching question.
I'll ask you a question.
All right, let's go. Joanne, go.
So I've been told that it takes about 4 touches a month to email people. What are your thoughts on that? And do you think that's obnoxious, or do you think 4 touches a month is good?
Okay, good question. So what are we touching them for? What are the 4?
Just to kind of, instead of sending one newsletter a month with everything, I've been advised to break it down into several pieces so that it's one a week. I myself think that's a bit obnoxious, but obviously the idea is to stay in front of the people, whether it's your sphere or anybody that's in your database to market to.
Okay, so let's break that down even.
The one on Georgiana, right?
We got somebody back coming. There we go. Okay. So let's break that down a little bit further, because everyone does not fall into the same category or the same bucket, is what I like to call it. Okay. And so when we get emails going out, if they're not purposeful, if they're not adding value, and if they're not specific to that person, it is just going to be obnoxious. It's kind of like when Allstate sends me a great reminder that I need to change my filters, right? Thanks, Allstate. That doesn't mean I'm going to remember Allstate when my premium's up for renewal and somebody else contacts me in a more personal relationship building way. Does that make sense? So emails can be purposeful, but what are we emailing for? So I will give you my 3 buckets. I don't send weekly emails, never have. I'll just start with that, okay? I don't send weekly emails. The reason I don't send weekly emails is because I don't want them. And if someone needs my help, they're going to go in one of 3 buckets. So I'll tell you who would get a weekly email and who does not get a weekly email, okay? So our business is in 3 buckets. These are buckets. Yes, they're rectangles. I'm not a drawer. Okay. So we have our buyer bucket. We have our seller bucket. And then we have, this is like our CRM cold leads bucket. Okay. These are people who we have never spoken with before. People who don't answer the phone, Facebook leads that come in, anything of that nature. This is your cold bucket. Okay. That is the only person I would ever put on a drip campaign or send weekly emails to that are just like your generic email. That's the cold bucket. Okay. So Facebook leads, gosh, if you picked up, let's say these people from like not an open house, because that's not going to work. If you did like a bazaar or something, or you had a booth somewhere and you gathered a bunch of people's information, like they may fall into this category after you've tried to contact them. This is a last resort though. You have to try to give them the phone call, like send them a more personal email before you just put them on a drip. What this does is try to trigger them to respond. That's really what sending 4 emails a month is doing, is trying to trigger a response. Okay. Okay. So these other, and we'll kind of talk about your people like specifically here in just a second. But if you have a seller or a potential seller, someone who is a homeowner, okay, they're going to go on Homebot. Homebot.ai. If you haven't started using it yet, you need to. Homebot.ai, it goes out once a month. It is an auto email, but it goes out with a really great piece of valuable information. Lots of valuable information, what their current interest rate is, their loan balance, what the market's doing, what the markets and the interest rates in the market are doing, all that good stuff. So Homebot is where our sellers go if they are a seller / like homeowner, right? Oh, I guess I shouldn't put homeowner. Okay. So that's where they're going to go. They're getting from you once a month. It's valuable. Okay. Then we have our buyers. If you have a buyer who is currently looking, they always need to be on a search. This search just needs to be inside your MLS. You don't need to pay for a separate program. You don't need something fancy. They need to be on an MLS search. There needs to be a conversation had here for the parameters of what it is that they're looking for. And then you put them on the auto search. Now, how many emails are they getting? 1 or more a day. Depends on what their motivation is and when they want to move and what the frequency of emails they requested. Right? Would you like to know what's going on in the market immediately? Or would you like to know once a day? Or do you want it once a week? I ask them how they would like to receive emails. So you're getting permission. So that's our buyers. They just go on an MLS search. You don't need to do any other email follow-up campaign, blah, blah, blah. There's nothing else that you need to do. This is purposeful. This is purposeful. Now, we kind of funnel these down, I would say, if I were to draw a new situation here. When you're doing your follow-up, so this is like my automatic systems that I use. And then when I'm going to go do my follow-up and I'm going to sit down and I have 3 hours on a Monday to call someone and you're like, okay, who do I call? Right? Well, you're going to call the people that are opening their search. So if they open to their search, you're going to touch base with them. And we can go a little bit deeper into what we say and how we say it, but you're going to touch base with them. They're the ones raising their hand that says, hey, I'm actually interested in what you're sending me. I'm checking my email. So you're going to touch base with them, right? This is how we get our higher conversion rates. Then if we've got people who are opening, you can check your open rates on your Homebot. You can see who's opened it multiple times, who's clicked on it, who's clicked through everything. Those are going to be the people that, again, are raising their hand that are most interested in what you have to offer. So that's when you touch base with them. Again, it's a personal touch base. It's a personal email that says, hey, I noticed you opened, the email that I sent you and you were kind of clicking around. Do you have any questions? Is there any information I can provide to you? Has anything changed? Do you need my help? Is there anything I can do to help you? That's it. Just, is there anything I can do to help you? Okay. And in both. And then the cold Facebook leads, guys, keep them on a drip. They're 90% of the time garbage. So don't waste your time. This is where we want to spend our time. These guys can stay on your auto drip campaign until, again, you can go check the open rate on the emails. And then those are the ones that you're going to try to reach out to via email or text or phone call if you have their phone number, to try to touch base and just say, hey, you had signed up at this place for this thing, checking to see if you were still interested in real estate. Or is there anything I can do to help you? That's my line, by the way. Like, what can I do to help you? Is there anything I can do to help you? Because it's not salesy. We're providing value when we do that. So that's the way that I approach it. And this is my entire plan. And I honestly don't even use this. I am busy enough. I always have been busy enough that I never had a CRM outside of my MLS search. And Homebot, which has been amazing, only showed up 3 years ago. And I'm 9 years into the business. Right? So that's an advantage that everybody now coming to the business has. Does that help with what you've got going on, Joanne?
Yeah, definitely. In fact, I do use Homebot and find it very valuable. My online leads come from soul.com. Okay. And those are the people that I put into Homebot. I follow up with a call and an email through my Gmail account to say, hey, here's a Homebot account for you. Check out your value of your home. I can kind of see if they click. And, the response for that has actually been pretty good. I think the last time I checked, like my open rate was like 43 or 47%. It was pretty high.
That's not bad for cold traffic.
Yeah. So, and then a few have clicked on the option to do, can I have an updated CMA? Yeah. So I've done that. I haven't received any business from Homebot, but I find that people do use it and they're intrigued by it.
So
And you're right. Facebook, garbage. I did an ad for an open house last weekend and I got 10 clicks, reached out to all 10. 50% of the phone numbers were bad. And I want to say 80% of the emails were bad.
yeah. I mean, it's a long game, the Facebook ads. You can do it. I mean, that's probably how some of you found me, right? Like I do run Facebook ads, but it depends on what you run it for, how you
Mhm.
run it. It's a whole other like monster. It's a whole other game.
Right.
And you have to be very specific and tweak things a lot to be able to make it work. It can work, but here's my opinion. You have to sift through so many names and phone numbers and people to get to someone that's good. I would rather spend my time on high impact lead generation, right? Which is what I teach. I would rather spend my time on that. Get to the goal faster. Find the people who want to do something. That's what I would rather do, other than spending my time calling 100 people to maybe get one or two. Like, great. Did you get one or two? Yes. And some people love that method and they maybe love making phone calls. I don't know. But I would literally rather go find people that I can help impact their lives and do it on a more personal level. That's what helps your business grow faster because they already know you. So you're not having to, number one, convince them to like you first and then convince them to work with you. It's just a little bit more work. It's not doable. It's just a little bit more work. Now I'm going to challenge you if you're looking for, so it's great that you're taking any of the seller leads that you get and you're putting them on Homebot. So that's a great thing. A little tweak inside the email that you send out saying, hey, I'm putting you on this program and it's called Homebot. A little tweak is the value is not accurate. Like this is it's an estimate, and it also is just showing you the market trends. If you have questions about your property, about the actual value of your property, just send me an email and I can get that for you. And now that puts you not in just an AVM system or like a Zestimate, right? Now that puts you as the authority for, hey, here's a great general idea, but when you need specifics, I'm your person. Right. And then that's kind of the sales pitch to let them know this is the value I can provide to you. I also would say anyone, this is any potential seller or homeowner. So if you're trying to grow your, say your open rate, you're trying to grow your sphere a little bit, you can reach out to any contacts that you know that are homeowners. If you haven't yet, that's a great way to grow your database is all your friends, your family. Sorry, I have a cold, so I'm like, trying not to die here. But I mean, friends, family, neighbors, like whoever you come in contact with. I had a person that I went on a listing appointment. They'd call me off a sign. They weren't interested in selling at the moment. I'd spent a couple hours with them. And I was like, great, two things. Like I can send you your value every month so you can at least see what the market's doing. Would you like me to do that? Oh yeah, I want you to do that. Great. So that's one touch point for me to keep in touch with her with value once a month, right? Then I also said, you know what? I send gifts to my clients 3 times a year. Do you love gifts? Would it be okay if I kept in touch with you and I send you something fun in the mail every 3 times a year? And she was like, yeah, that sounds phenomenal. So guess what I got yesterday? So that was actually 4 months ago, okay, that I met with this person. I have not ever called them again. I've actually not touched base. They said, are you ready to sell your house? I mean, none of it, right? I get a text message yesterday that says, do you think my value is still this? We're maybe interested in selling soon. What did she get from me? She got a really cute apron with a fun saying on it because that's what I sent out for my summer gift. And she gets Homebot every month. That's it. That was my follow-up. It doesn't take me a lot of time, but it has a lot of purpose and value. So my conversion rate is higher. And then my repeat business is, 95% of my business. And I still sell, 80 to 100 houses a year.
Nice.
Yeah. So I hope that
What
helps.
do you use for your gifts? I'm curious.
Lots of different things. So I find something new every quarter. I always send chocolates out at Christmas. Just because everybody loves chocolates and we have a local chocolate company. So I try to support local business as much as I possibly can. So we have a local chocolate company and I send them out to all my past clients. I don't send them out. I don't spend that money on people who haven't invested in me. So this is not something that I do for random people that are on my list. This is literally you invested in me. I'm investing in you. And so I sent out, this is probably my favorite because we use them all the time. And I've sent them out more than once because I get requests for them. But I just sent out these phone stands Actually sent them over COVID, which was awesome, but it's branded. It's got my contact info on here. Hard to forget me, right? I did aprons this last time with a fun saying on it. You know, we just, whatever. That we've got all sorts of different ideas. If you need follow-up, if you need a follow-up plan, you can go to my agentleader.com and up under coaching, tab at the top, go to coaching, and below that is marketing. And I have my marketing playbooks, and everything that I do for my follow-up and examples and links and all that fun stuff is right inside that follow-up playbook. Or it's also included with my academy. All my marketing playbooks are included with my academy.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, who's up next? Who's got a good question for me? How does Homebot.ai work? Just go to Homebot.ai. It's like a $25 a month subscription. And you go just put their email and their physical address in there, and it will send them out every month. Inside my follow-up playbook, I give you a little bit better direction than that because there's some method that I use. There's some methods that I use to, again, like preface it. So I'm not just randomly signing them up for something and it looks like junk mail. So I have actually an email in there that you can use and tweak that I send out to my people before I sign them up for Homebot. So I have about an 87% open rate with my Homebot clients, but I don't have cold traffic on there. Every time I close a deal, all my homeowners go on Homebot. It's one of my things that I do when I close a deal.
So you mentioned in an email that you I think you missed last week because you were in Texas. So is there anything from your conference that you would like to share with us that you found like just amazing?
Good question. Oh, what is my favorite thing I learned? So I was at a coaching conference. So my mentor and coach that trains me is Brendan Bouchard. I don't know if you, but he's the world's #1 high performance coach. So I am huge on high performance. And let me share with you actually. So this is something I taught my academy as well. So I had an experience with an agent who came to me for coaching. She came into my academy, and when she came to me, she was paying for Zillow leads, $1,800 a month. She had received 78 leads in a 6-month period. Okay. 78 leads. She had converted zero. So when she came to me, she was like, I need to sell my house. I need to get a different job. I mean, she was just in the bottom of the bottom. Okay. So we kind of coached through and talked through what she was doing when she received those leads, because 78 leads, you shouldn't be not converting like that many leads. There's something else going on. And that's a whole secret thing I'll tell you later. But this was the other bigger piece to the puzzle. Like, we made some tweaks to her pitch because her pitch wasn't personalized, and the order of things she was doing in. And I kind of teach that how to pick up buyers and how to convert them better. Because I used to convert 50% of my Zillow leads when I paid for Zillow 5-6 years ago. I had a 50% conversion rate. I think the average is like 10%. But the bigger piece of this puzzle that I want to share with you is the energy. So if you think about your energy level, okay, how are you showing up every day? And we feel like our energy is not our choice sometimes, right? Something's going on in our family, or we argued with our spouse, or we have a kid that's going AWOL or something. And so we wake up in the morning. Sometimes we don't want to get out of bed. We don't want to do our job. We don't have the energy to call the client, right? We don't have that pep in our step to really be effective. Has anybody ever been depressed? I know I have. And one thing that I realized in being depressed was my conversions went down. My conversions went down because I would get a sign call for a property, and usually I'd have some energy, and I would, they'd call, they ask some questions. They'd say, oh, never mind, that's not the property for me. When I have energy, I will say to them, okay, well, what is it that you're looking for? Tell me what's going on. Where are you coming from? And then I go into my kind of 20 questions, not in order, but I start to get a little bit personal and dive in to ask them some questions about them to start to form a relationship, right? When I feel like garbage, I'm like, I answer their question and I'm like, okay, have a good day. And I hang up because I don't have the energy. I'm not showing up and I don't really want to talk to them, right? So therefore our conversion goes down. So a lot of the questions I get from people on Ask a Coach or that come in through the email are, how do I get more leads? How do I get more leads? How do I get more leads? And you can go find lots of different coaches out there, and the coaches are going to be like, you need to be on Instagram 5 times a day, and you need to do your lives, you need to be on YouTube, and you do all these things, right? I'm the coach that's probably not the sexiest coach that says, we need to up our energy. We need to take care of us. We need to work on our performance, become a higher performing person, because when you do that, the byproduct of that is you're generating more leads. You're converting more people, right? So it's not the sexiest tagline to put on my website necessarily, but it is 1000% true. So I was the first day, and you can actually go to YouTube, and I've got a video up there, but the first day that I was at conference, I was tired. I hadn't eaten very well. I was like overworked. I didn't exercise. And so my energy level was down, and my experience that first day, I'm around all these people with high energy. And I literally was like, all right, here we go. Right. Like really trying to get into it. After the conference, I went to my room. I ordered some room service. I laid there by myself, like, watched some TV, did some notes, went to bed. The next day I was like, I am going to generate the energy that I want. Like, this is stupid. I'm going to generate the energy I want. So I get up. That night before, I actually walked around. I went and found a grocery store. So I bought some healthy stuff for me to be able to eat in my room. Had some breakfast. I wake up, I have my breakfast, I'm prepared, right? Get some squats going on, like get moving. I get to the conference. Everybody's jumping, dancing, bouncing, because that's what we do at coaching conferences and at my conference. Jumping, dancing. And I sat in my chair like this, and I was like, nope, I'm going to generate the energy. So I'm going to get up and I'm going to go dance, right? I'm going to go jump up and down. I'm going to dance. I'm going to get that blood flowing. So that's what I did. Okay. The whole rest of that day, you guys, my energy was like up here. That night, instead of going to my room, I met some people in the lobby, and I was like, what are you guys doing for dinner? Oh, we're going to go here. Do you want to come? Great. I'd love to come, because my energy was higher. I felt better, right? I go to dinner, have a great time, long story. And you can kind of it was an amazing experience. And I do have that up on YouTube because it was so amazing. But the biggest thing is, what kind of energy do you want to generate? And you have that power. You have that ability to do that. We have a choice, and we don't have to be driven. So if you think about like a rock, a big boulder in a river, right? It doesn't move and the water flows around it. So everyone else's energy, whether it's negative or positive, can literally just flow around us. We need to be solid in the energy that we are creating. Otherwise, we feel like we're out of control. And when we're out of control, we start to go into the land of overwhelm, right? And we don't get things accomplished. So that would probably be my biggest question for you is, what type of energy are you creating in your life every day? And start to really realize that is a choice. The day is going to happen. The sun's going to come up. The sun's going to go down, right? But how do we want to experience life? How do we want to experience our day? And if you want to lay on the couch and have a sob day, have a sob day. But just know that's a choice, right? It's a choice. So that's probably my biggest takeaway from conference was just that personal experience of, and being very aware of what I was doing. We talked about so many things. I've got some amazing stuff coming to my conference next year, in April. But yeah, it was amazing. Good question. Anybody else? What do we got?
Question about your academy.
Yeah.
I'm a 9-year veteran of real estate, so I have some experience. I should say I have a lot of experience, but I know my systems need to be tweaked and worked on. And more importantly, I'm kind of a structured individual, so I need to kind of structure my week and my schedule. What can your academy do for me that would help me get where I want to go?
All the good things. So it's a simplified process honestly, it's very direct. Like I said, I don't like to waste time. So what I'm finding with agents is we have so many options and tools and ideas and things that we can do that I actually, when you come into my academy, we do a one-on-one coaching session, and I'm going to give you the path that you need in order to impact your business in the greatest way. So I've got 200 trainings that they're not all going to fit you. You don't need them all. You know what to do with an appraiser. You know what to do on FHA. You know what to do, all those things, right? That's not what you need. So as we do a one-on-one coaching, we will customize the plan for you. And then every week I coach live, and it's every single Wednesday. And so the live coaching, we have a different topic. This week, it was actually coordinating our selling and buying at the same time. Because right now our days on market is right, like out the roof, but buyers still think that they can go put offers on things even though their house isn't on the market. And how are we dealing with those emotions, and how are we selling that to them the way we need them to do it? So every week is up to date, relevant training for what's going on in the market and support that you need. So, and then energy. We create so much energy every week that you're now ready to go into the next week, right? So whether I've got people that have been in 19 years, been in the business for 19 years, and sometimes when you've been in it, you can't really see what might need to change too. So that's what having a coach can really help with, is what are you doing right now that's working, and being able to help identify that. And then where do we need to make shifts so that you can enjoy yourself, enjoy your life, and increase your business, or whatever your goals are. Yeah. So it's not just for new agents. New agents is great, and I've got all that too, but it's for all the people. It's for all the kinds of people.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Allison says, just do it. She's been in the business for 10 years and she just joined the academy. Changed her way of thinking. Yeah, it's a big mind shift, but it's because I'm a high performance coach. So it's not just talking about leads all day long. I mean, it is too, right? But I'm making you a more high performing individual. And then I'm a life coach. So every time we get stuck in a thought pattern that's maybe not serving us, we can be able to get out of that like so fast. So you make faster progress because you're not wasting time. I hate wasting time. So good question. Anybody else have a question for me?
Hi, this is Kizzy. Sorry, I'm driving. That's why I got my camera off.
That's all right. Safe.
I think for me, it's just I've been in the business for 7 years, and it's like staying. I don't know. Because you hit when you said we have so many different platforms and we have so many this and that. It's kind of finding your niche and finding what works for you, and staying motivated and discouraged, because when you were saying about the agent that you started coaching, about how she's about to start looking for a job, I feel like talking to me, because I'm at that place of consistency, keeping consistency, because you have a good month and then you have a month where you don't have anything, and then it's been like a roller coaster for me, and I'm just so ready to get off the roller coaster.
Yeah, because you feel like you're on a roller coaster, for sure. Okay, so there's a couple things about leads and the way that you do your business. I think there's not one great way to get leads. That's why you see so many different people advertising, or when you talk to people and you find out how are they growing their business. It's not all just some universal way, right? You get the people that love to door knock, you get the people that love to make 100 phone calls, you get the people that love to do Instagram, the YouTubes, the whatever it is. It's really diving in to find out, what do you enjoy? Because the thing that we enjoy the most is the thing that we're going to be most consistent at, right? So if you tell me to go door knock, I would never make a dime. That's not my jam. I don't love that. So it's diving in to find out what actually lights your heart on fire, what makes you excited to get out of bed and go do your job. Who do you want to serve? How do you want to serve them? Where do you want to find them? And then that's the niching in, I feel like, in real estate, because it's different for every single person. We all have different. My husband introvert. He's Zillow all day long. It's his greatest asset. People call him, he converts them very well, and he helps them, and he's made $200,000 a year doing that. Right? He's an introvert. Me, I'm like, oh, take me out. I'll go talk to the people. Like, put me in a party group, put me in a, something that's going on in the city, put me in church, put me wherever, and I'll go talk to people. Put me in a line at the grocery store and I'll talk to the person next to me. Somebody mentions a house, I'm going to insert myself. I'm going to offer my help. So that's me. He's completely different. So it really is just finding what it is. And the way that we dive into that in coaching is to see what's been working for you, right? Have you enjoyed it? But what's been working? Where does your business come from? We have to track our business. If we don't know where our source of business is coming from, how do we know what's working to double down to increase our business, right? Or if we haven't even discovered what we love to do or a place that we can be able to look for business, that's probably your general agent who's selling 10 a year because they're waiting for something to happen to them. They're waiting for people to call them. They're not out actively looking and generating the kind of business and energy that they really want to have. So we have these lofty goals where like, I'd like to sell 25 or I'd like to sell 50 or whatever your goal might be or your financial goal. But then we keep falling short and we keep falling short, right? Because we're not focused in as much on what it is that we're doing and are we enjoying it so that we can be consistent at it. So that's so important to do. The other thing about so for me, growth, like the growth that I've made, even in just the last, I'd say 4 years, I continue to grow. I still have a coach. I'm always looking for outside. I'm always learning and socially learning. And when I'm in a social group of people that are higher level and also have higher ambitions, that raises me up, right? It's like that rising tide raises all the boats in the harbor. Like that's why my husband's like, why are you going to a conference? Why are you going to go to this? I actually go once a month to train with my coach because it continues to elevate me. That social learning from other people, what's working for them when I may be having a downtime, the energy that other people have, that helps to lift me up. So social learning is really huge. That's the other thing that I would say just from conference that I really realized is the social learning is also kind of networking. And we really hope and wish that we could get all that from our brokerage. I know we do, but here's the thing about our brokerages, okay? Depending on the brokerage. My brokerage is different. We've created a different culture. But in some or a lot of brokerages, what I'm finding is no one wants you to be successful. I mean, your broker does, right? But nobody else does. Because that means you're better than they are. And that's how most of this industry works, is they don't want you to be better. So if they're going to give you information, they're only going to give you a little bit, but not enough to be ultra successful. Because that means you're going to outsell them, or they're in a scarcity mindset where they're fearful that they're not going to have enough business. Right? So it's very hard to have rising tides in a place where no one's rising or you're not helping each other rise. So that's one of the reasons why I created the Academy, is because we've got people from all over the United States. And I will tell you right now, I don't train local people. I don't share my secrets with local, right? Because it's very true. They are our competition. But all those around the United States are not my competition. So I can teach you all day long how to kick everybody else's trash because that's right. That's what we can do. Like, because you're not my competition. So it's great. I'll tell you all my secrets. So but yeah, social learning, so important. And this is such an isolating job. We sit at home at our home office. Maybe we're at the office, in town. But again, like you may have people you joke around with or have friends at work, but no one cares about your business like you do. So it becomes an isolating event, right? Which is tough as an entrepreneur, because that's what we all are. We're entrepreneurs. We're not, we're not employees. Yeah. I don't know if that helps, if that kind of answered your question. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk, but yeah, that's the.
Yes, absolutely. Big help. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah. And you don't have to go get another job. Because think about how much you would make per hour and how many houses it would actually take you to do that, to replace that income. So I know it seems like it's an automatic like negative response almost to think that we need to go get another job because it's secure. It's easy, right? But you can find security in yourself. You get to control that. So that's being willing, though, being willing to ask questions, being willing to get help, being willing to want to grow. That's going to help you get further.
I have a real quick question.
Okay.
I got off my rear end and went and circle prospected this week.
Okay.
And it killed me to walk up to doors and hang something on them, because people. But, so I did the Homebot QR code. If somebody scans that, does it email me to notifies me that somebody scanned it?
No, nope. So
Okay.
you're only going to know if they sign up. So if you were to use CoreFact, CoreFact, you can go look it up. But if you were to use CoreFact, their QR code, you can look up stats if people scan it. They don't have to necessarily sign up for you to be able to see that, but you'll see the scans. Homebot, it's, as far as I know from looking in there, you only are going to see if they sign up.
But they can sign up from that seller's landing page.
Yes, they
from
can.
the QR code.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Wanted to make sure I was doing it right.
Yep. Yeah. So if anybody's wondering what she's talking about, there is a custom landing page and buyer page. You only get the buyer's page if you are partnered with a lender. I don't know if they're going to change that in the future, but as of this recording, you have to be partnered with a lender for that buyer page to show up. And then you have a custom seller page as well. So they can be able to sign up to get their home value. So when we talk about like emails or mailer marketing or anything like that, you always need to have a clear call to action for the person that you're marketing to. So they have something to go do. You're trying to incite them to go do something. So a QR code for finding their value is a really great value add for them. So that's a good thing to put on your marketing. So it replaces when people just mail out and say, I'm your neighborhood realtor, here's my face, right? Which is not, it's brand recognition. And if that's your objective, then that's fine. But I would give them a call to action on any type of marketing that you're doing so that you're trying to gather their information and get them inside your world. Yeah, good question.
Oh, I had another one. I don't know if you said it because I was dealing with a client. The conversation to have when you following up from Homebot. Did you get to say that conversation that we should have?
Oh, we can dive back into that, I think, a little bit. So if they're opening the email, right? I usually would just send an email out. I don't usually make a phone call based on them opening their emails, unless I know that they're like hot lead and I've been talking to them already. So I usually would just send an email that just says, hey, I noticed you've been, opening up the emails that I've sent you. Do you have any questions about the information? Do you need to know your specific home value? Like, do we need to dial in? Do you have anything going on? Like, how can I help you? Any of those things are great. End it with, how can I help you? Always. Yeah, always. So you're just wondering, like, so here's the thing about leads when we've got them. The goal is to continue to fill the pipeline. Right? You get as many people in here, as many people in here, as many people maybe in here. Like I said, this one's not my favorite, but as many in here and as many in here as you possibly can. You just keep filling that pipeline, right? And as you continue to fill the pipeline, like, people are going to drop out the bottom in the good way, right? Like, this is our dollars. They're going to filter down and they're going to be ready to do something. But what I tend to find with agents is we've got 15 or 20 or however many people on our search, and we got our people on Homebot, and then we try to hound them like we need them to do something right now. It may not be the time in their life to do something. It may not be the time. So you just want to be in front of them with value so that they remember that you're the person to call when they need help. That's all you're trying to do. So industry says, let's just email them so many times so that when they're ready, all of a sudden your email's in front of them and they're gonna respond to your email. Coach Lisa says, let's give them some value, create some relationship. They're not going to forget who you are when it's time to do something. And case in point, I literally just had a client who I've had on Homebot, and I send my gifts to him. I sold him his house 5 years ago, him and his wife. I've never talked to him again. We didn't have he came in from out of town. We didn't really build a huge relationship, but I did a stellar job, because that's what I do, right? Teach you how to do a stellar job in your real estate job. Oh my gosh, as an agent. But we did a stellar job. It's 5 years later, and I get the text message that says, hey, I need to move out of state for job, and I need to get my house up for sale. That's it. Like this. I've had 3 this week, you guys. It's like clockwork. I can't turn off the faucet no matter how much I want to turn it off. The system is amazing and it works. And I can't turn it off. And my agents who I've trained can't turn it off, because once you perform in this way and you're adding so much value, which doesn't take more time, it actually takes less time. But when you're adding value, it's an easy conversion. This is the way it went, right? He texts me, says, I need to sell my house. I'm like, great. I give him a phone call so I can get a little bit more information about his timeline, what's going on. His wife had passed away, which I didn't know about. And, he needed to leave in X amount of time. I'm like, great. I'll come do a walkthrough tomorrow. How about this time? He's like, yeah, that sounds good. So I prepped. I did some market analysis, right? Which I teach you how to do in a faster way. Did a market analysis. Went the next day. I do not take a fancy listing packet with me. I took myself. I took my planner to take my notes for what was going on in his house, right? What he had. I told him what his price was. I said, here's your range. If we want to move faster, this is where we're going to be. This is a solid price. And he said, great, sounds good. I said, okay, I'll email you the documents to sign. Done. I don't have to continue to work so hard to convert people to work with me, because I'm adding value. So then when the industry keeps saying all the fancy 25 paid listing packages, so we need to make in Canva and spend all this time, that is not active activities. Those are passive activities. You're trying to make yourself feel better by making something really pretty to present to someone. And what I'm going to teach you is, how do you become a master of the market? How do you become so freaking confident that you can show up and you can say with confidence, this is how long your house is going to be on the market. This is what the price should be. This is what we can expect. This is what I can do for you. And this is the value I can provide. How much different is that than showing up with a really big listing packet, a CMA, in a pretty folder, and you're wearing high heels? People don't care about that. They care about how you make them feel. And they're making a huge life change. And that life change needs to feel comfortable and confident for them. So if you come in and you're like, we should be able to sell you in this amount of time, your price should be somewhere around here. Well, you're going to should yourself to death. And they're not going to feel confident in you. And they're not going to hire you. So your conversion problem has nothing to do with you as a person or your skills. But it could be the way that you're presenting yourself sometimes too. Right? Again, confidence, energy, right? Knowing the information, how we show up, not scripts. Where do I keep my database for all my clients? I used to keep it in Excel. We still have it in Excel. I use Google Sheets. So I keep a master list in Google Sheets, and then I keep them in Homebot if they're homeowners. So they go in both places for me. And then my website has a CRM too. So I keep them in there as a backup. So I've got it in 2 places. And that's my client database. That's it. Nothing fancy. And they're not on drips, by the way. Nobody wants that. I don't want it. All right. Any other questions? I have a hard time showing my point of difference. For example, when a buyer or seller asks, why should I hire you instead of John Smith? What do you say? Sandy, can you unmute? Is your voice working? Is your voice? Oh my gosh.
I can unmute, but I have construction work going on at my house, so I don't know how much background you're hearing.
Okay. What do you usually tell them? Tell me why, like why you feel like you don't know what to say.
I kind of say, you're hiring me and I'm a full-time agent. This is my job. This is how I feed my family.
Okay. So it's about you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Okay. This isn't a bad point. That's not a bad point. But
Okay.
keep going. But we don't care how you feed your family because it doesn't affect them.
Okay. And I tell them, that I care about getting you the best value for your house. And when you work with me, you work with me. I'm just me. You're not going to get a team. Am I saying more about me now?
Yeah,
now you got me thinking. Now you got me thinking.
Yeah. Yeah. So they don't know the difference between a team. They don't know the difference between full-time agents. You do. Right? So dive one step further. Why are you the best value? Why does it matter that you're full-time? Right? You're giving them surface level. So you're almost there. But if you're a full-time agent, what are you? Responsive? Like if you're fast, you're responsive on your phone. Like what do we hate about people who aren't full-time agents? That's really
yeah. It takes 3 days for them to call you back.
It takes a long time to call you back, right? I would say like you're the point of contact, which is your best value, right? You're the point of contact. I love to tell them I take care of everything for you. Like I'm going to make this the easiest transaction you could possibly have. I'm going to make this as great as it could possibly be. Right? I mean, so think about what they're looking for. They're looking for someone who is knowledgeable, who understands the market, who is accurate on pricing, who can know what they are going to be able to expect in this process.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. So dig a little bit deeper for what do we feel like, put yourself in their shoes. What are you getting hired for? I went to I had to go to a lawyer's office this week, and outside of my real estate lawyer, this is the first time we've had like a separate lawyer. It was super funny story. I'll tell it to you later. But the interesting thing was I go in, I sit in this lawyer's office, and I have my 23-year-old son. He was flying a drone and some lady filed a restraining order. It was great. Anyway, so we're sitting there. He's kind of in panic mode, right? Which is what our sellers are in. They're in panic mode. Our buyers are in panic mode. They don't know what to expect. They don't know what to do. They want someone to come take care of them. Right? So what are you going to do to take care of them? That's the question. Like professional photos. I always tell them my description matters. I spend a lot of time on my description. I pay good money for professional photo. I have an exclusive professional photographer. The way that we present your property matters. I present it in a way. I answer my phone quickly so that people can get to me, right? There's a lot of agents who don't answer their phones. The one thing that we want to do when we're pitching ourselves is not say why everyone else sucks, but just say why we're good. The things they're going to get from us, but say that with confidence as well.
Okay.
Yeah. And you're there my biggest thing, I'm there to represent them. Like I'm there to protect their interests, represent them, get them the most money possible. Or if they're a buyer, get the best deal possible. I'm there to fight for my clients. When I sat down at that lawyer's office, she says to us, well, I think we should be fine. I'm like, you think we should be fine? Like, this is a stupid case that this lady, like this freaking crazy lady decided to put a restraining order. I mean, it was insane. And she's like, well, it should be fine. I'm like, you just shoulded me. And the second she did that, my confidence in her went into the toilet. I will never hire her again, ever. And I will never recommend her to anyone because she didn't make me feel comfortable and confident in hiring her and what we were doing. It's the same thing with real estate. You got to walk in, you got to command the room, you got to have that confidence. So again, comes back to our energy, right? How are we showing up? How do we feel? When we feel amazing, we're going to show up and we're going to be like, I'm the best. I'm the best agent, right? I'm amazing. And these are the things I'm going to do for you. And nobody does them like me. And I'm really great at it. And I know what the market prices are, and I know what the interest rates are doing, and I know what buyers want, and I know how long it's going to take to sell the property. And I know how we have to market it to make this go the way that we want it to go and to get you the most money possible. Practice those things and saying those things so that they can continue to come out with confidence. The more you do this, the more confident you become, because you have that experience telling you that, oh yeah, I can do this and I'm fine, right? But here's the funny thing. You have one thing go sideways, one bad deal, one unhappy person, and you all of a sudden question yourself. Anybody do that? Or maybe you get one appraisal that comes in low, and then you're like, oh my gosh, do I even know how to price houses? One appraisal out of how many? But we start to question ourselves, right? So you have to have confidence in what you're telling people and keep that energy up. Thanks for coming to Ask a Coach today, you guys. I am here every Thursday. And if you want more information about the Academy, this is what I'm going to recommend. Go to my agentleader.com website. And if you go click on, I'm going to tell you a secret. If you go click on how to make 6 figures in real estate, there's a masterclass in there, 22 minutes long. It will get you $1,000 off the program. And then there's a payment plan as well that you get a discount on. So if you go check that out, but the thing is, be prepared, because you get to click on that once. It actually tracks your IP address. So you get to click on that once. The second you click on it, you have 4 days. It has a timer. You have 4 days to get that deal, because I don't usually discount my program. So you have 4 days to get that. So if you're thinking, you know what, this is my jam, I need to raise myself up every single week and I need to learn more and I want to grow, that's the place to go to. Michelle says it's so worth it. Michelle just joined too. It's the value's like over the moon. But yeah, so much content, valuable. So if you like the way, this is how I coach, this is how I teach, this is my whiteboard. I don't do PowerPoints. It's not my jam. It takes me longer to freaking make a PowerPoint than it does to teach it. So I gave up and this is what I do. So every week. All right, you guys, have a wonderful, wonderful week. And I'll see you in the Academy, or I'll see you next week. All right. Bye, guys.